Let's talk about emails.
All right, let's do, I think we have time for one quick email.
A quickie.
This one comes from Ruan Lai from Toronto. Hey, do you know Mike Lascelles? And Ruan writes, through her friends, my mother has decided to drink apple cider to remove gallstones. According to her friends, after drinking only apple cider for 2 days, the gallstones will be flushed out of the body and absorbed in the feces. It will appear green and feel soft to the touch. I have found conflicting reports online, and I care about my mother's health very much. Your opinions would be much appreciated.
I'm grossed out.
Well,
wait, did she mean...
We have Rebecca's opinion.
Did she mean that the feces or the gallstones would be soft to the touch and green?
I believe the gallstones.
Still gross.
That shows, I hate to say it this way, but that shows such a complete lack of understanding of what a gallstone is anyway. Like, there's nothing you could do chemically to a gallstone to turn it into, like, green sludge.
I would like to plead ignorance concerning gallstones and their chemical makeup. So we're all in this.
Well, I'll tell you.
Please.
Gallstones are essentially made of bile, which is made in the liver.
Ew.
The bile goes from the liver down the common bile duct and is released into the small intestine, where it helps digest fats. It's made primarily of bile salts and cholesterol. Now, the bile also collects in the gallbladder, and when you eat a fatty meal, that sends a chemical signal to the gallbladder to squeeze out an extra little shot of bile in order to help digest that fat. Problem is that if the bile sits too long in the gallbladder and doesn't completely empty, or if there are certain chemical changes in the bile, then it can form into stones. Those stones then they're very hard. They'll rub up against each other and develop these sharp edges. And when the gallbladder squeezes to release bile, it'll squeeze down onto these stones, giving you a nice shot of sharp pain in your right upper quadrant of your abdomen. They also could get lodged in the duct, and that could then block the bile, which becomes a very acute, severe problem, and they can cause other problems as well. They can block the bowels if they get released, etc. Jay is right. There is nothing you can take orally that's going to dissolve those gallstones.
What about up the pooper?
Also, what about what?
Up the pooper. If you can't take it orally, is there something you could...
Poop.
No. Anything you take either from the top or from the bottom is not going to go back up the bile duct into the gallbladder, right? So it's not going to get access to the stones.
Nanites could do it.
Things don't flow that way. And there's a sphincter, you know about sphincters.
Oh, yeah, I know all about sphincters.
Yes.
Don't we talk about
Pyloric
sphincters
sphincter?
every week?
So the concept of drinking something for a few days and having it get up into your bladder, your gallbladder, and dissolving the stones, it defies physiology and anatomy. It doesn't happen. There are a couple of things that we can give to patients to help slowly dissolve their stones, but it has to be absorbed into the blood and then get into the liver. And it takes months, 9 months. So it's not the kind of thing that would happen in a couple of days.
You could have a baby in that time.
Oh, my God.
That's right. You could.
You could, Rebecca. You could.
What's happening here, and it's interesting, the description that Ruan is giving falls right in line with what is known. This is a typical liver flush or gallbladder flush. Naturopaths love this kind of thing. It's all crap, if you'll pardon the pun. What they're doing now. Also, there's multiple different permutations of the formula here. Some say apple juice, some say apple cider, some say apple cider vinegar.
Some say Apple Jacks.
With some, you also have to take olive oil, and maybe olive oil combined with lemon juice.
I love how people literally just make this up. Totally.
Well, actually, Jay, I don't think that this is totally made up. I think this is the kind of thing that's evolved in cultures over time. Yeah. And here's why. If you take something like olive oil and you combine it with either a vinegar or lemon juice or something like that, the fats in the olive oil will form into these small, formed balls that will then absorb bile from the intestines, and it will look kind of like a gallbladder stone, a gallstone. So probably people observed this happen and said, oh, that might be a gallstone. Maybe this works. But in fact, they're just looking at the olive oil itself that formed into this ball and is stained green like a gallstone. The fact that it was soft to the touch, as Ruan reports, that's the key. These things are much softer than true gallstones, which are very hard. So if you have some soft appearing stone in your stool after drinking olive oil and apple cider, that's not a gallstone. It's what you were drinking to begin with. Also, the size of the stones that some people have reported occurring in their stool are bigger than what could pass through the bile duct. So it doesn't really make sense that way.